What's going on? Welcome to the next video on drawing dynamic poses. And for this video, I chose two particular poses. I chose one for shorten, one, well, both of these are for shorten. And this one is a guy dunking a ball. There were a lot of basketball poses that were there for me to choose from, but I chose this one since it has a lot of foreshortening in this one. Now for this particular pose, I can either start with the ball or the head, but this time I chose to start with the head just because I wanted to focus on that and get the angle of the position of the head first. So as you see, I started to make a box shape for the head, and sometimes I can do a circle, but sometimes when I do certain angles, I like to use the box form for the head. That way I can easily know and see where to place different features of the face. As you see there, where I have the nose as kind of like a triangle, since the head is at a certain angle. And I also like to place the center line and the lines for where the eyes are. Sometimes I'll add in circles for where the eyes are, and sometimes I can just leave it blank. That way, when I erase it, I'll just know where the eyes are placed. And so right now I'm adding in the oval shape for the chest. Now I can either do the oval shape or I can go with the box shape for the chest. I can do probably the whole thing with boxes, depending on the different angles that I'm trying to do with the pose. But a lot of times I like to switch it up. Sometimes I'll do boxes, sometimes I'll do ovals, half circles. But this one I chose to do the oval shape for the chest and also the waist. And I went with the circles with the shoulders, same as usual. I never really changed anything about that. I know I've seen some use kind of like a oval shape for shoulders also, which you could use if you're planning out before drawing in the muscles. Now I'm working in the ball early, and sometimes I can draw the ball after I draw the arms, but a lot of times when I'm drawing poses, I will draw the ball or whatever item that the character is using, and then have the arm placement, attached to that. And sometimes it changes the pose because it may change the pose from how it looks from the reference to your own drawing, but it's a way to add some difference to it and give it your own weight. So right now I'm adding in the arms, and it's kind of it's also a way of measuring where the arms and how far they are towards the ball. So that way I kind of just can eyeball it and say, okay, well, the distance of the arm to the ball is here. That way I can get a general idea for how far to stretch the arm. Now just use usual, I'm adding cylinders for the arms and forearms, adding in the hands, trying to rotate it around that ball. And the legs are usually tricky because sometimes it's at an angle, it's going down, you can't really see where the placement of where it starts. So you're kind of just eyeballing it, and you're creating big shapes to find the form of the leg. So when you see me draw the leg, you'll see how I try to figure out where the big objects are for creating those calves and leg muscles. Well, not really the leg muscles, but the cylinders for the legs, as you see me doing right now. I created the first cylinder for the leg, and I'm just overlapping it. It's all, for shortening is a lot of overlapping. So you're overlapping a bunch of shapes. And to me, it's the best way of finding different poses and trying to figure out how to draw a pose is just by finding all the big shapes. I mean, you can also do it by just taking a magazine and putting a piece of tracing paper over top of the magazine and just tracing over it with the shapes of the circle for the head or the square for the head, depending on how you want to do it, just to figure out how to draw that particular pose. That's right, I'm just going in and I'm erasing some of the extra lines. But for shortening, poses aren't hard. It's just you're finding those overlapping shapes. That's the key to drawing for shortened poses. You find the overlapping shapes. That way, when you erase the whole thing, you add in that detailed pose of whatever figure or anime character you're doing, and you'll know where to go with it. Now with this one, I chose this picture mainly because she has her hand out, stretched out for shorten, and I'm kind of showing a method of how I approach this one. Now there's multiple ways to do this. You can start from the head to the pose, or you can start from the hand. You can start from the shoulder out towards the hand. There's many different ways to approach this one. And for this particular one, I chose to start with the hand and work my way back. So you see me doing drawing my hand my normal way by just adding in the box for the palm, and then I'm just creating those cylinders for the fingers. And I always like to do the cylinders for the fingers. It's an easy way for me to draw the hand when I'm drawing cylinders for the fingers, because it's kind of a way to show that bend in the finger. Because a lot of times it'll look funny when you're drawing those bends with the cylinders, but once you erase over it lightly with a rubber eraser, then start adding in details and the creases and everything, it will look like a hand. It's like when you see different sketchbooks of different artists, when you see their starting pictures is always looking jacked up, and then once you start to add the details and start to finalize it and add the cross hatching or shading or whatever color, it will start to look more like whatever it is they're trying to draw. Now just refining all the shapes. I kind of just drew over lightly, and I'm going back over it darker with those cylinders for the fingers. I'm just darkening some of the lines. Yeah, to me, the best way for learning poses is just draw a lot of foreshortened pictures. Start out drawing basic poses for the first week or couple weeks or so, and just go straight into foreshortened poses. Because foreshortened poses are kind of like the more challenging ones. The basic pose, side views and all that, they're easy. I mean, anybody can do that. I'd rather focus on drawing foreshortened poses. That way you have a more of a knowledge of how the body would move in that position when you're drawing foreshortened poses. So right now I'm working in the chest. I did this one a little different. I'm just doing like the rib cage area and the waist. And I work my way towards the head. Now the head, I drew this one different only because sometimes it depends on what mood I am in for drawing whatever method I'm using for drawing the head. Since I have pretty decent knowledge of head techniques for getting the head that I want. So for this one, I kind of just drew a line going up to show that head angle. The head is tilted, and I drew, because the head is tilted up, I put a circle underneath, like a little small oval circle to indicate that's where the neck will be raised at. Then adding the center line and then going across with where the eyes are going to go. And every once in a while, when you see me do, I think I've posted some shorts that I've done where you see me draw some characters and I drew the circle under the neck where the head is tilted. And it's kind of an easier way to show me that the neck or the head is going up. Because sometimes my eyes get kind of confused to figuring out the position of the head, unless I'm doing it as a box. If I'm doing it as a box, it's different, but even then, I'll kind of add some type of circle under the neck just to show that the head is going up. All right, I'm adding in the arm. Since the arm is going back, add a circle for the elbow. I always like to add that in there. So I'll add the circle for the elbow, and I'll kind of just, redraw and add the shapes over that. As you see me doing right there, I'm just drawing the cylinder over the circle, because you can erase it as you go. Because either way, no matter whatever you do, you're going to erase the whole thing anyway. When I'm adding the full details, I think I put a short. I think it was a few days ago. Someone asked me to do a short of me just drawing the shapes and then drawing the figure over it. And actually, I have a lot of those. I think mostly the Dragon Ball Z ones. It's kind of just a way of having fun with it, because since the figure or the shapes that you have are kind of lightly erased, you can draw whatever you want over So right now I'm working in the hand, working those little small cylinders. Not getting too crazy with it. Sometimes I may detail the hands more just to know where that's gonna end up looking like when I'm doing the final. But a lot of times I can just go in there and just quickly do a gesture of a hand and then later on erase it anyway. But for the purpose of the video, since I'm doing a bunch of shapes, I'll just draw in all the cylinders for the fingers to get that hand in there. And female poses aren't that much different from male poses, and it depends. For this particular pose, there's not really too much to go into features. I mean, you can easily just change the features as you add the details in. But there's certain poses where you would have to make the waist wider for the female characters opposed to the male characters. But that's it for this video. If you want to see more videos like this, leave a comment, hit the like button. Take care.